Somewhere in the old villages of Greece, there's a rule people still half remember. If someone knocks at your door at night, and they only knock once, you wait. You don't answer. You don't even move toward the door, because the dead only knock once. And if you answer, you're as good as gone. This is the fear of the Vrykolakas. Now, every culture has its undead, but the Greek version has its own particular horror to it. A Vrykolakas isn't some pale, elegant thing drifting through the night. It's a corpse, bloated, swollen tight like a drum, the skin gone dark and ruddy and stretched. People who dug them up swore the bodies hadn't rotted at all. They'd grown fatter and heavier. What are they full of? Nobody wanted to ask. People became Vrykolakas for all sorts of reasons. The wicked, of course, the cruel and the cursed, but also the unlucky, buried in unconsecrated ground. People who'd been excommunicated. Someone a cat had jumped over before burial. Even a person who'd lived a perfectly ordinary life could come back wrong, through no fault of their own. And once one rose, the trouble starts. At first, it is the small things. The creature would leave its grave at night and wander back to the places it knew. It would knock on doors, call out names of the living, in a voice the family still recognized. If answered, it would sit heavy on the chests of sleeping people, crushing the breath out of them. It would spread sickness through the village, house by house, until people started dying. The worst part is that the Vrykolakas always goes to its home first. It visits its own family, its own street. The people it had loved in life are the first ones it came back to feed on. That's why the knock mattered so much. The thing would come to your door and rap on it, exactly once. If you answered that first knock, it marks you. The next night, you be the one getting sick. So the rule spread through every village. Never answer the door on the first knock. Make it knock twice. The dead, they said, can only knock once. Now, killing one of these things was its own grim business. You had to dig the body back up, and that alone took nerve, because everyone knew what you'd find down there wasn't going to look dead. Then, depending on the region, you did what had to be done. Some drove a long iron nail or a stake through it to pin it to the earth. Some poured boiling water or vinegar over the corpse. And many, in the end, did the only thing that really worked. They burned it completely to ashes. Because a swollen, blood-fat corpse that won't rot and won't rest leaves you with very few options. By the way, this wasn't just a campfire story to the people who told it. Greeks believed it deeply and they acted on it. Across the Greek islands, there are real historical records, documented written accounts from travelers and priests, of villages exhuming bodies, of communities gripped by genuine panic over a corpse that wouldn't decay. On some islands, the fear ran so deep that the dead were sometimes dug up, examined, and dealt with again and again, well into more recent centuries than you'd think. A whole people, for generations, lying awake and listening at their own front doors. So tonight, if you're alone and the house is quiet and you hear it, a single knock, soft, from someone you can't see, don't get up. Don't call out. Don't reach for the handle. Just wait. Count the knocks. Because if it knocks again, it's probably just the wind or a neighbor or nothing at all. But if it only knocks once, then something out there already knows your name. And it's waiting for you to open the door.